There's a new carjacking scheme. Let's talk about it. Welcome everyone, Mark here for Mark's Travel Time. In this video, we are going to talk about what's happening on the carjacking front. I said it's a new scheme, and I guess technically you could argue it's not new, but it is becoming very prevalent. It's a predominant way that we are seeing in recent weeks carjackings take place. Not exclusively, but it's happening a lot. And that is, number one, carjackings are increasing at a phenomenal rate. I think just last week I'd reported that in Chicago alone, 38% increase in carjackings. And I don't want to get too much into why it's happening. From my perspective, I think it has a lot to do with the social and political environment that we're experiencing right now. But what's more important to us, I think, is what we can do about it and recognizing what's happening. So what is this trend? Well, other than carjackings themselves increasing, we are seeing them laser targeting rideshare drivers. And that should be a concern to all of us. In a recent video, I asked you what can be done about it. And I'm going to ask you that again in this video. And a lot of people said things like, don't deliver or drive at night, stay out of sketchy neighborhoods, and all those things I would agree with, except what we're seeing are carjackings taking place in broad daylight and not necessarily in bad neighborhoods anymore. Who's to say the bad guy, even if he lives in the bad neighborhood, goes somewhere else to jack your car? I mean, after all, if you want a good car, you don't go to, the downtrodden neighborhood. You go to the good neighborhood, don't you? I don't know if that's their thinking. But I was slightly amused, and I know you shouldn't take, pleasure in someone else's misfortune. There is a name for that, and a German name. I forget what it is right offhand. But when this happens to a politician, I kind of feel like just desserts, But anyway, this story that I'm going to tell you about is more recent. It's quite disturbing. And as I lay it out for you, you're probably going to think, oh, well, that was a red flag. Oh, there's another red flag. Well, there's something she shouldn't have done. But I think we have to remember it's always easy to be a Monday morning quarterback. Hindsight is 20/20. So what happened? Well, this woman was delivering for Uber Eats. You got it. It's not even anymore. Be careful who you pick up. Uber Eats drivers and delivery drivers and Lyft as well are being targeted now. My thinking is, well, let me tell the story, then I'll tell you my thinking why I suspect this is happening. So she gets an order from McDonald's. And one of the things she said I thought was kind of weird because it was just for an order of fries. All right, red flag number one. Someone orders fries, they're trying to lure you to a location. The thing is, once we accept a ride, sometimes, you're reluctant to decline it. But sometimes we have to trust our gut. And she even said in retrospect, delivering an order of fries seemed weird. Here's the second thing. She had her kid with her. Now, I know, according to terms of service, you're not supposed to have a passenger with you. Certainly not during rideshare. But I believe that spills over into deliveries as well. In my mind, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense why you couldn't have someone with you during a delivery. It might even be safer to a certain degree. But you might be putting that person at risk, as you're going to find out in just a minute. But if you're delivering packages, sometimes it's easier. If you can't find parking, you can have a runner that runs that food, runs that package in and out. I see some real advantages to it. Regardless, she had her child with her. And when I say her child, I don't know how old this kid was. It sounded like maybe they're teenagers. And she's going up and down the street, can't find the address. Okay, there's another red flag, isn't it? But it happens to all of us. I've had times when I couldn't find the address, but most of the time it's because I can't read the address. It's not that I can't find it. They're hidden on the houses, or maybe they're apartment complexes, and you have a big cluster of mailboxes that have all the addresses on them, but the buildings themselves don't. Rarely is it that the address doesn't exist. But she couldn't find the address, so she's going up and down a couple of times. Then a guy starts flagging her down. Is that a red flag? I don't know. But he's flagging her down. He didn't have a red flag, by the way. I don't think anyways, it wasn't reported that way. And she stops and verifies, yes, it's Uber Eats. Now, this is where I might have the story wrong just a little bit, but it sounded to me like she got out of the car, maybe to go in the back seat and get the food. And when that happened, and the reason I think she may have gotten out of the car rather than reached over and got the food is because she talked about she was out of the car and her son didn't know that she had a gun to her back. So these carjackers are using weapons. Her son got out of the car to help his mom, not knowing a gun was involved in this situation. They did get out safely, fortunately. They got out, person took their car and left. I'm assuming that they didn't have the phone because that was one of her concerns. She was really afraid now. This person had everything. Has their name, their address, probably her phone, everything in the car, glove box, all that information. I don't think that people jack your car, however, to come and get you. I think people jack your car to do other things, to take it to, be stripped down, sold for parts, to commit another crime. As I said in a previous video, they're slamming into vehicles and then they're robbing those people when they get out to check damage. So they're doing a lot of things with these cars. I don't think they're doing it so they can come back and get you later. But why are they using rideshare vehicles? Because they can get them to stop. That is such an easy thing to do. You now can get the person to stop and can get them out of their vehicle. And those two things are so easy. One of the things that I always do is I keep my keys in my pocket. The keys are not in the console. They're not in my drink holder. They're not in the armrest. When I go on long trips and things, I do that all the time. But when I'm delivering, it's always in my pocket. That way, if I get out of the car and they take off, I can trigger the alarm or something like that. I have never had to do that. And again, you could be putting yourself at risk. That could get a person annoyed enough they may drive back and put a couple of slugs in you. I don't know. But I do know this. If someone has a gun, I am always going to assume that they're willing and ready to shoot that gun. My training, my education has always been, if you're going to point a gun at somebody, you should be prepared to use that weapon. And so I assume everybody else has that same mindset. If somebody's pointing a gun at me, they're going to shoot me. I would rather they have my car than they have me. So that's what they're doing, folks. They are using Uber Eats delivery, not just rideshare, but delivery. And that's why I think they're doing it, because it's an easy way to lure you somewhere. It's an easy way to get you out of your vehicle. Question is, what can you do about it? Well, let's keep our radar up for weird types of deliveries like a bag of fries. Turn them down. You can look for the sketchy neighborhoods, but like I said, I'm not sure if a sketchy neighborhood is going to do the trick, because I think they're doing it in all kinds of places right now. And just a weird thing, if someone's on the street, I might just say, here's your food, because I can always gun it and get the heck out of there, right? I might be reluctant to get out of my car in a weird situation like that, in a parking lot in the middle of the street, something like that. Although I don't know if that's enough. We're always parking our car in the street in front of a house and getting out of it to bring the food up. What are your thoughts? Any strategies? This might be enough to get a lot of people to stop driving. I don't really want to risk this. Although right now, what am I doing? I'm out driving, delivering. Well, that's it for today, everybody. As always, I encourage you to like and share the videos. Tell me what you think down below. If you haven't already, please click my face to subscribe. And if you do, if you're subscribed now, or if you are currently subscribing right now, click that bell icon up above. That way you'll know when I post new videos. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I'm Mark. This is Mark's Travel Time.